Namaste. Welcome back to Samskriti. We will be now presenting Sarga 14 of Yudha Kandam in the Adhyatma Ramayanam series. Seated in the aerial vehicle, Raghunandana said to the princess of Mithila, the moon-faced Sita, "Look at this glorious and famed city of Lanka, which is established on the summit of Mount Trikuta. And look here at the battlefield, which is rendered into a thick, pasty slush of flesh and blood. Here there has been a frighteningly horrible massacre of demons and monkeys. It was here that the king of demons Ravana fell dead at my hands, and it was here that Kumbhakarna, Indrajit, and other great warriors were killed. See in the ocean the Setu or the bridge that I constructed. This in future will be famous as the Setu Bandha in all the worlds, a holy place for people to visit and bathe. By doing so, they will be absolved from their sins. Here, I installed Rameshwara, the divine image of Shiva. It is in this place that Vibhishana had come to seek my refuge along with his ministers. And look, that marvelous place consisting of gardens and many forests is the capital of Sugriva called Kishkindha. Now, Sita was desirous of seeing the women folk of the monkeys. Therefore, the aerial vehicle stopped there at Rama's behest, and Sugriva brought his women folk led by Tara to meet Sita. With these women also on board, the Pushpaka aerial vehicle quickly rose into the sky once more. Rama now again said, pointing to the Rishyamukha mountain, "See, here Vali was killed by me. Now see the famous place Panchavati, where I destroyed a large Rakshasa force. Beyond that, see the holy ashramas of Agastya and Sutikshna. O virtuous one, all those ascetics who then inhabited these places are still seen there. There you see the imposing mountain Chitrakuta. It was here that Kaikeyi's son Bharata had come to plead with me to go back to Ayodhya. You now see there Bharadwaja's ashrama on the banks of Yamuna. And here is Ganga, which purifies the whole world. O Sita, what you see there is river Sarayu with numerous sacrificial posts on its banks, and this that you see is Ayodhya. Make salutations to the city." Traveling in this way, Rama gradually reached the ashrama of Bharadwaja on the 5th lunar day after 14 years of absence. Rama, along with Lakshmana, saluted the sage Bharadwaja, who was seated in the ashrama, and said to him in all humility, "O revered one, have you heard anything or do you have any news? Is Bharata all right with his younger brother Shatrughna? Is everything all right in Ayodhya? Are all our mothers alive now?" Pleased with Rama's words, Bharadwaja replied, "All are doing well, and as for Bharata, he lives on fruits and roots and wears matted locks and tree bark clothes. He rules the country, dedicating his actions to your sandals, and is eagerly awaiting your return. O Lord of the Raghus, by virtue of my tapas and your grace, I have come to know about all your achievements in the Dandaka forest, consisting in the destruction of all the Rakshasas, putting forward Sita's abduction as the cause. You are verily the supreme Brahman manifested, so that one could see you with the eyes. You are without beginning and end. In the beginning, you did bring water into existence, to sleep or recline on it. Hey Vishwatman, you are residing in the soul of all the creatures, hence you are called Narayana. The grandsire of the world, Brahma, originated from your navel lotus. Therefore, you are the Lord of the worlds, worshipped by all. You are Mahavishnu, and Sita, the daughter of Janaka, is Lakshmi. This personage, who is known as Lakshmana, is Adisesha. You created this world out of yourself, in yourself, by your inherent power of Maya. Just like the sky, you are not attached or defiled by anything. With your power of knowledge, you are the witness of everything. You are pervading everything within and without. You are the whole. Out of ignorance, people see you in separation. You are the universe. You are also the support of the universe. You alone are the support of all the beings. O Lord, you are both the enjoyer and the enjoyed. Whatever is seen, heard, or remembered, all that is you yourself. there is nothing else besides you. For want of true knowledge of you, all this is seen in separation. With the dawn of your knowledge, nothing is seen in separation. O Rama, it is due to your inspiration or at your behest that Maya creates this entire world infused with all its characteristics such as arrogance, ego, pride, haughtiness, vanity, etc. Therefore, this creation is yours alone indirectly. Even as inanimate things like iron become mobile and active under the attractive or repulsive influences of a live magnet, so does Maya create this whole universe when you glance at it, though it is inert in itself. The force which activates the Maya is you and you alone. In order to protect the whole world, you have assumed two forms, though you have no body per se. Your gross body is called Virat, and your minute microscopic body is called the Sutratma, or the subtle pervading self known as Hiranyagarbha. Out of the Virat Purusha, numerous incarnations arise, and after they fulfill their purpose, they dissolve into the Virat Purusha himself. O Rama, in this world, whoever recites with attention and devotion the accounts of these incarnations, they attain moksha. O Lord of the Raghus, being requested by Brahma in the days of old to relieve the burdens of the earth, you, who were pleased with his austerities, incarnated yourself in the line of Raghus. O Rama, you have achieved the purpose of the Devas in fullness. Incarnated as a man, you have performed the actions impossible for anyone to achieve. Famed all over the world over these achievements, the sin-destroying accounts about them will be the cause of the welfare of men both here and hereafter for thousands of years. O Lord of the worlds, it is my prayer that you make a stop over here in my hermitage with your army, have your meals here, and thereby purify my hermitage. Then you can proceed to your capital tomorrow. Rama agreed to this and stayed in that holy ashrama for that night. He, along with Sita, Lakshmana and the forces, received the hospitality of the sage for the night. After some time, thinking for a while, Rama called Hanuman and said to him, O Hanuman, you go quickly to Ayodhya and see whether everything is going on well in the palace. Going to the city of Sringavera, inform my friend Guha that I have come along with Sita and Lakshmana. After that, you go to Nandigrama, see my brother Bharata and convey to him the news of my welfare as also of my wife and my brother. Also inform him about all that has happened of the abduction of Sita and the destruction of Ravana. Inform him that after destroying all the enemies and the complete fulfillment of my purposes, I am arriving along with my wife Lakshmana and the leaders of bears and monkeys. Learn also all the news about Bharata and his doings and return to me quickly. Agreeing to do so, Hanuman assumed a human body. Then, with the lightning speed of a Garuda attacking a serpent, he quickly proceeded to Nandigrama. Reaching Sringavera city on the way, Hanuman addressed Guha as follows with a joyous heart. Your friend, Rama, the son of Dasharatha and an embodiment of Dharma, along with Sita and Lakshmana, is abiding in a happy condition. They convey their kind inquiries to you. Permitted by the sage Bharadwaja, Rama will soon arrive at your place and he will meet you. Having said so to Guha, who was thrilled with this pleasant and exhilarating news, the most glorious Maruti proceeded further ahead with the speed of wind in the sky. After some time, he sighted Ramatirtha and the great river Sarayu. He crossed it and proceeded to Nandigrama with a most joyful mind. At a distance of approximately 1 krosha from Ayodhya, he saw Bharata. He had put on a small piece of bark cloth and a skin of black antelope. With his hair matted and dressed in tree bark cloth, he was subsisting on roots and fruits and constantly thinking of Rama. With Rama's sandals kept in front as a token of his presence, he was governing the country on Rama's behalf. He was surrounded by ministers and chief citizens who were all dressed in ochre clothes. Seeing him, who looked like the embodiment of Dharma, Hanuman said with palms joined in salutation, with a sorrowful heart you are thinking of Rama as living in the Dandaka forest as an ascetic. That Rama is now making inquiries about you. O noble one, I shall now tell you what is very dear to you. Abandon your intense sorrow. Soon you would be able to meet your brother Rama. Having killed Ravana and rescued Sita and thus achieved his purpose, Rama has reached the neighborhood along with Sita and Lakshmana. This happy news filled the mind of mighty Bharata with such intense delight that he swooned and fell on the ground. Reviving soon, Bharata embraced Hanuman, who had brought him this joyful news, and literally drenched him with tears of delight and extreme joy. Bharata said, "You who have come here out of mercy, are you a deva or a man? I shall grant a boon to you who have brought this joyous news to me. I shall give you as a reward 100,000 cows, 100 villages, and 16 beautiful girls decorated with every kind of ornament." Bharata continued, "It's long since my Lord Rama has gone to live in the deep regions of the forest. It is only now that I am getting some happy news about him. If a man lives for 100 years, he will in the course of that time have some joyous experiences. This common saying seems to have come true with regard to me. How did Rama come to have an alliance with the monkeys? Tell me the truth about it. I shall believe your words." On being thus questioned by the high-minded Bharata, Hanuman narrated the incidents of Rama's story one after another. With great joy, he heard the narration of Hanuman and then jubilantly called Shatrughna and said, "O Raghunandana, let worship and offerings of every kind be done in every temple in the city without an exception. Let a large group consisting of bards, musicians, and dancing girls proceed immediately. Let the royal ladies, ministers, brahmanas, the leading citizens, and the tributary princes proceed to see the moon-like face of Rama." Hearing Bharata's words, Shatrughna ordered the city to be decorated with pearls and jewels, with buntings, flags, and with all other kinds of decorations. Houses were decorated by people who were experts in that art. All who were eager to see Rama now started in a body. That group consisted of 100,000 horses, 1,000 elephants, and 10,000 chariots with golden decorations. The people following were all carrying objects fit for presentation to royalty. Following this group were the royal ladies in palanquins. Bharata walked on foot along with Shatrughna, himself carrying the sandals of Rama on his head and with his hands joined in salutation. At a distance he saw the aerial vehicle Pushpaka, built by Brahma by an act of will, shining like the sun and the moon. Hanuman now said, "In that Pushpaka you will see the heroic Rama and Lakshmana along with Sita, as also Sugriva, the king of monkeys, and Vibhishana with his ministers." Then the sky was filled with the joyous exclamations of that concourse of men and women, young and old. "Oh, here is our Rama! Here is our Rama!" Those who were riding in chariots or on backs of elephants and horses got down and walked. They saw Rama seated in the Pushpaka Vimana just like the moon in the sky. In great joy, they all saluted him with joined palms. Next, the joyous Bharata made prostrations to Rama seated in the Vimana just like the sun on the mountain Meru. Now, commanded by Rama, the aerial vehicle touched the earth. Bharata, along with his brother Shatrughna, entered into it with great joy and made prostrations once again. Rama, who was meeting his brother Bharata after a long time, seated him in his lap and embraced him in great joy. Next, Bharata approached Lakshmana and Sita and, announcing his presence by name, saluted them. Bharata then embraced Sugriva, Jambavan, the heir apparent Angada, Mainda, Dvivida, Neela, Rishabha, Sushena, Nala, Gavaksha, Gandhamadana, Sarabha, and Panasa. All these monkeys, being capable of taking any form, assumed the appearance of men and received Bharata. Versed in good conduct, they made enquiries about Bharata's welfare in great joy. Then Bharata said respectfully, addressing Sugriva after embracing him, "With your help, Rama has been victorious and has destroyed Ravana. So you, O Sugriva, are a fifth brother to the four of us." Now, in all humility, Shatrughna made prostrations to Rama and Lakshmana, and after that to Sita also. Then Rama went to his mother, who had become lean and pale on account of sorrow. Producing great joy in her mind, he saluted her, touching her feet. Rama then saluted his other mothers, Kaikeyi and Sumitra. Bharata now put on Rama's feet that pair of sandals of his which he had been worshipping with great devotion till now. He said, "The kingdom that you entrusted to me, I am now restoring to you herewith. O Lord, I have attained the highest fulfillment of my life in seeing you return to Ayodhya. My aspirations have been fulfilled. The granary, the army, the treasury, and the other limbs of the state that you had entrusted to me have by your grace now grown tenfold. Now, O Lord, govern your kingdom. Hearing these words of Bharata, all the monkey leaders shed tears and in great joy praised Bharata. Then Rama, in a mood of great joy, seated Bharata in his lap and proceeded to Bharata's ashrama in that aerial vehicle. Then Rama got down to the ground from that aerial vehicle and addressed it thus: Now I give you permission to go. You can be at the service of Kubera, the son of Vishravas and the lord of wealth. Rama then saluted the guru of his family, Vasishta, just as Indra salutes the guru of Devas. He offered an honored seat to the guru and sat by his side. This sarga ends on this note. Let's move on with the chanting now. Adhyatma Ramayane Yudha Kande Chaturdashah Sargah Shri Mahadeva Vacha Patayitva Tataschakshuhu Sarvato Raghunandanaha Abhravin Maithilim Sitam Rama Shashinibhananam Trikuta Shikharagrastham Pashya Lankam Mahaprabham Etam Ranabhuvam Pashya Mamsakardama Pankilam Asuranam Plavanganam Atra Vaishasanam Mahat Atra Me Nihatah Shete Ravano Rakshaseshwaraha Kumbhakarnendrajinmukhyaha Sarve Chatra Nipatitaha Yesha Seturmaya Baddhaha Sagare Salilashaye Etaccha Drishyate Tirtham Sagarasya Mahatmanaha Setu Bandhamiti Khyatam Trailokyena Cha Pujitam Etat Pavitram Paramam Darshanat Patakapaham Atra Rameshwaro Devo Maya Shambhuh Pratisthitah Atra Mam Sharanam Prapto Mantribhischa Vibhishanah Yesha Sugrivanagari Kishkindha Chitrakanana Tatra Ramajnaya Tara Pramukha Hariyoshitah Anayamasa Sugrivah Sitayah Priyakamyaya Tabhih Sahothitam Shighram Vimanam Prekshya Raghavah Prahachadrim Rishyamukam Pashyavalyatra Mehatah Yesha Panchavati Nama Rakshasa Yatra Mehataha Agastyasya Sutikshnasya Pashyasramapade Shubhe Ete te tapasa sarve Drishyante Varavarnini Asau Shailavaro Devi Chitrakutah Prakashate Atra Mam Kaikayi Putraha Prasadayitumagataha Bharadwajashramam Pashya Drishyate Yamuna Tate Yesha Bhagirathi Ganga Drishyate Lokapavani Yesha Sadrishyate Site Sarayuyupamalini Yesha Sadrishyate Yodhya Pranamam Kuru Bhamini Evam Kramena Samprapto Bharadwajashramam Harihi Purne Chaturdashe Varshe Panchamyam Raghunandanaha Bharadwajam Munim Drishtva Vavande Sanujah Prabhuhu Papracha Munimasinam Vinayena Raghutamaha Shrunoshi Kachid Bharataha Kushalyaste Sahanujaha Subhiksha Vartate Yodhya जीवन्ति च हि मातरः। श्रुत्वा रामस्य वचनं भरद्वाजः प्रहृष्टधीः प्राह सर्वे कुशलिनो भरतस्तु महामनाः। फलमूलकृताहारो जटावल्कलधारकः पादुके सकलं यस्य राज्यं त्वां सुप्रतीक्षते। यद्यत्कृतं त्वया कर्म दण्डके रघुनन्दन राक्षसानां विनाशञ्च सीताहरणपूर्वकं सर्वं ज्ञातं मया राम तपसा ते प्रसादतः। त्वं ब्रह्म परमं साक्षादादिमध्यान्तवर्जितः त्वमग्रे सलिलं सृष्ट्वा तत्र सुप्तोऽसि भूतकृत् नारायणोऽसि विश्वात्मन्नराणामन्तरात्मकः त्वन्नाभिकमलोत्पन्नो ब्रह्मालोकपितामहः अतस्त्वं जगतामीशः सर्वलोकनमस्कृतः त्वं विष्णुर्जानकी लक्ष्मीः शेषोऽयं लक्ष्मणाभिदः आत्मना सृजसीदं त्वम् आत्मन्येवात्ममायया न सज्जसे नभोवत्वं चिच्छक्त्या सर्वसाक्षिकः बहिरन्तश्च भूतानां त्वमेव रघुनन्दन पूर्णोऽपि मूढदृष्टीनां विच्छिन्न इव लक्ष्यसे जगत्त्वं जगदाधारस्त्वमेव परिपालकः त्वमेव सर्वभूतानां भोक्ता भोज्यं जगत्पते दृश्यते श्रूयते यद्यत् स्मर्यते वा रघुत्तम त्वमेव सर्वमखिलं त्वद्विनान्यन्न किञ्चन माया सृजति लोकांश्च स्वगुणैरहमादिभिः त्वच्छक्तिप्रेरिता राम तस्मात् त्वय्युपचर्यते यथा चुम्बकसान्निध्याच्चलन्त्येवायसादयः जडास्तथा त्वया दृष्टा माया सृजति वै जगत् देहद्वयमदेहस्य तव विश्वं रिरक्षिषोः विराट् स्थूलं शरीरं ते सूत्रं सूक्ष्ममुदाहृतं विराजः सम्भवन्त्येते अवताराः सहस्रशः कार्यान्ते प्रविशन्त्येव विराजं रघुनन्दन अवतारकथां लोके ये गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति च अनन्यमनसो मुक्तिस्तेषामेव रघुत्तम त्वं ब्रह्मणा पुरा भूमेर्भारहाराय राघव प्रार्थितस्तपसा तुष्टस्त्वं जातोऽसि रघोः कुले देवकार्यमशेषेण कृतं ते रामदुष्करं बहुवर्षसहस्राणि मानुषं देहमाश्रितः कुर्वन् दुष्करकर्माणि लोकद्वयहिताय च पापहारीणि भुवनं यशसा पूरयिष्यसि प्रार्थयामि जगन्नाथ पवित्रं कुरु मे गृहं स्थित्वाद्य भुक्त्वा सबलः श्वो गमिष्यसि पत्तनं तथेति राघवो तिष्ठत्तस्मिन्नाश्रम उत्तमे ससैन्यः पूजितस्तेन सीतया लक्ष्मणेन च ततो रामश्चिन्तयित्वा मुहूर्तं प्राह मारुतिम् इतो गच्छ हनूमन्स्त्वमयोध्यां प्रति सत्वरः जानीहि कुशली कच्चिज्जनो नृपतिमन्दिरे शृङ्गवेरपुरं गत्वा ब्रूहि मित्रं गुहं मम जानकी लक्ष्मणोपेतमागतं मां निवेदय नन्दिग्रामं ततो गत्वा भ्रातरं भरतं मम दृष्ट्वा ब्रूहि स भार्यस्य सभ्रातुः कुशलं मम सीतापहरणादीनि रावणस्य वधादिकं ब्रूहि क्रमेण मे भ्रातुः सर्वं तत्र विचेष्टितं हत्वा शत्रुगणान् सर्वान् स भार्यः सह लक्ष्मणः उपयाति समृद्धार्थः सह ऋक्षहरीश्वरैः इत्युक्त्वा तत्र वृत्तान्तं भरतस्य विचेष्टितं सर्वं ज्ञात्वा पुनः शीघ्रमागच्छ मम सन्निधिं तथेति हनुमांस्तत्र मानुषं वपुरा स्थितः नन्दिग्रामं ययौ तूर्णं वायुवेगेन मारुतिः गरुत्मानिव वेगेन जिघृक्षन् भुजगोत्तमं शृङ्गवेरपुरं प्राप्य गुहमासाद्य मारुतिः उवाच मधुरं वाक्यं प्रहृष्टेनान्तरात्मना रामो दाशरथिः श्रीमान् सखा ते सह सीतया स लक्ष्मणस्त्वां धर्मात्मा क्षेमी कुशलमब्रवीत् अनुज्ञातोऽद्य मुनिना भरद्वाजेन राघवः आगमिष्यति तं देवं द्रक्ष्यसि त्वं रघूत्तमम् एवमुक्त्वा महातेजाः सम्प्रहृष्टतनूरुहम् उत्पपात महावेगो वायुवेगेन मारुतिः सोपश्यद्रामतीर्थं च सरयूं च महानदीं तामतिक्रम्य हनुमानन्दिग्रामं ययौ मुदा क्रोशमात्रे त्वयोध्यायाश्चिरकृष्णाजिनाम्बरं ददर्श भरतं दीनं कृशमाश्रमवासिनं मलपङ्कविदिग्धाङ्गं जटिलं वल्कलाम्बरं फलमूलकृताहारं रामचिन्तापरायणं पादुके ते पुरस्कृत्य शासयन्तं वसुन्धरां मन्त्रिभिः पौरमुख्यैश्च काषायाम्बरधारिभिः वृतदेहं मूर्तिमन्तं साक्षात् धर्ममिव स्थितम् उवाच प्राञ्जलिर्वाक्यं हनुमान् मारुतात्मजः यं त्वं चिन्तयसे रामं तापसं दण्डके स्थितम् अनुशोचसि काकुत्स्थः स त्वां कुशलमब्रवीत् प्रियमाख्यामि ते देव शोकं त्यज सुदारुणम् अस्मिन् मुहूर्ते भ्रात्रा त्वं रामेण सह सङ्गतः समरे रावणं हत्वा रामः सीतामवाप्य च उपयाति समृद्धार्थः स सीतः सह लक्ष्मणः एवमुक्तो महातेजा भरतो हर्षमूर्छितः पपात भुवि चास्वस्थः कैकेयी प्रियनन्दनः आलिङ्ग्य भरतः शीघ्रं मारुतिं प्रियवादिनम् आनन्दजैरश्रुजलैः सिषे च भरतः कपिं देवो वा मानुषो वा त्वमनुक्रोशादिहागतः प्रियाख्यानस्य ते सौम्य ददामि ब्रुवतः प्रियं गवां शतसहस्रं च ग्रामाणां च 100 वरं सर्वाभरणसम्पन्ना मुग्धा कन्यास्तु 16 एवमुक्त्वा पुनः प्राह भरतो मारुतात्मजं बहूनि मानि वर्षाणि गतस्य सुमहद्वनं शृणोम्यहं प्रीतिकरं मम नाथस्य कीर्तनं कल्याणी बत गाथेयं लौकिकी प्रतिभाति मे येति जीवन्तमानन्दो नरं वर्षशतादपि राघवस्य हरीणां च कथमासीत् समागमः तत्त्वमाख्याहि भद्रन्ते विश्वसेयं वचस्तव एवमुक्तोऽथ हनुमान् भरतेन महात्मना आचचक्षेथ रामस्य चरितं कृत्स्नशः क्रमात् श्रुत्वा तु परमानन्दं भरतो मारुतात्मजात् आज्ञापयच्छत्रुहणं मुदा युक्तं मुदान्वितः दैवतानि च यावन्ति नगरे रघुनन्दन नानोपहारबलिभिः पूजयन्तु महाधियः सूता वैतालिकाश्चैव वन्दिनः स्तुतिपाठकाः वारमुख्याश्च शतशो निर्यान्त्वद्यैव सङ्घशः राजदारास्तथा मात्याः सेनाहस्त्यश्वपत्तयः ब्राह्मणाश्च तथा पौरा राजानो ये समागताः निर्यान्तु राघवस्याद्य द्रष्टुं शशिनिभाननं भरतस्य वचः श्रुत्वा शत्रुघ्नपरिचोदिताः अलञ्चक्रुश्च नगरीं मुक्तारत्नमयोज्ज्वलैः तोरणैश्च पताकाभिर्विचित्राभिरनेकधा अलङ्कुर्वन्ति वेश्मानि नानाबलिविचक्षणाः निर्यान्ति वृन्दश्च सर्वे रामदर्शनलालसाः हयानां शतसाहस्रं गजानामयुतं तथा रथानां दशसाहस्रं स्वर्णसूत्रविभूषितं पारमेष्टीन्युपादाय द्रव्याण्युच्चावचानि च ततस्तु शिबिकारूढा निर्ययूराजयोषितः भरतः पादुकेऽन्यस्य शिरस्येव कृताञ्जलिः शत्रुघ्नसहितो रामं पादचारेण निर्ययौ तदैव दृश्यते दूराद्विमानं चन्द्रसन्निभं पुष्पकं सूर्यसङ्काशं मनसा ब्रह्मनिर्मितम् एतस्मिन् भ्रातरौ वीरौ वैदेह्या रामलक्ष्मणौ सुग्रीवश्च कपिश्रेष्ठो मन्त्रिभिश्च विभीषणः दृश्यते पश्यत जना इत्याह पवनात्मजः ततो हर्षसमुद्भूतो निस्वनो दिवमस्पृशत् स्त्रीबालयुववृद्धानां रामोऽयमिति कीर्तनात् रथकुञ्जरवाजिस्था अवतीर्य महिङ्गताः ददृशुस्ते विमानस्थं जनासोममिवम्बरे प्राञ्जलिर्भरतो भूत्वा प्रहृष्टो राघवोन्मुखः ततो विमानाग्रगतं भरतो राघवं मुदा ववन्दे प्रणतो रामं मेरुस्थमिव भास्करम् ततो रामाभ्यनुज्ञातं विमानमपतद्भुवि आरोपितो विमानं तद्भरतः सानुजस्तदा राममासाद्यमुदितः पुनरेवाभ्यवादयत् समुत्थाय चिरादृष्टं भरतं रघुनन्दनः भ्रातरं स्वाङ्कमारोप्य मुदातं परिषस्वजे ततो लक्ष्मणमासाद्य वैदेहीं नाम कीर्तयन् अभ्यवादयत प्रीतो भरतः प्रेम विह्वलः सुग्रीवं जाम्बवन्तं च युवराजं तथाङ्गदं मैन्दद्विविधनीलांश्च ऋषभं चैव सस्वजे सुषेणं च नलं चैव गवाक्षं गन्धमादनं शरभं पनसं चैव भरतः परिषस्वजे सर्वे ते मानुषं रूपं कृत्वा भरतमादृताः पप्रच्छुः कुशलं सौम्याः प्रहृष्टाश्च प्लवङ्गमाः ततः सुग्रीवमालिङ्ग्य भरतः प्राह भक्तितः त्वत्सहायेन रामस्य जयो भूद्रावणो हतः त्वमस्माकं चतुर्णां तु भ्राता सुग्रीवपञ्चमः शत्रुघ्नश्च तदा राममभिवाद्य स लक्ष्मणं सीतायाश्चरणौ पश्चाद्ववन्दे विनयान्वितः रामो मातरमासाद्य विवर्णां शोकविह्वलां जग्राह प्रणतः पादौ मनो मातुः प्रसादयन् कैकेयीं च सुमित्रां च ननामेतरमातरौ भरतः पादुके ते तु राघवस्य सुपूजिते योजयामास रामस्य पादयोर्भक्तिसंयुतः राज्यमेतन्यासभूतं मया निर्यातितं तव अद्य मे सफलं जन्म फलितो मे मनोरथः यत्पश्यामि समायातमयोध्यां त्वामहं प्रभो कोष्ठागारं बलं कोशं कृतं दशगुणं मया त्वत्तेजसा जगन्नाथ पालयस्व पुरं स्वकम् इति ब्रुवाणं भरतं दृष्ट्वा सर्वे कपीश्वराः मुमुचुर्नेत्रजं तोयं प्रशशंसुर्मुदान्विताः ततो रामः प्रहृष्टात्मा भरतं स्वाङ्कगं मुदा ययौ तेन विमानेन भरतस्याश्रमं तदा अवरुह्य तदा रामो विमानाग्र्यान्महीतलम् अब्रवीत् पुष्पकं देवो गच्छ वैश्रवणं वः अनुगच्छानुजानामि कुबेरं धनपालकम् रामो वसिष्ठस्य गुरोः पदाम्बुजं नत्वा यथा देवगुरोः शतक्रतुः दत्त्वा महार्हासनमुत्तमं गुरोरुपाविवेशाथ गुरोः समीपतः इति श्रीमध्यात्मरामायणे उमामहेश्वरसंवादे युद्धकाण्डे 14 सर्गः।